All right, so welcome to this YouTube channel. Thank you for watching this video. Do not forget to like this video and share, and also do not forget to subscribe. Okay, so today we are going to be talking about a very, very important topic again, a topic that you cannot do without if you intend to do structural design. As a matter of fact, it's the basics of structural design. It is the very first thing you would do whenever you receive a plan as a civil engineer or a structural engineer to design a building. And I'm talking about how to grid and panel a building. Okay, how to grid and panel a building plan. Okay, so you would agree with me that the very first thing to do when you get your architectural design is to grid and panel the drawings so that you would know the position of your structural elements. Okay, you know how to place your structural elements. All right, so today, you just allow me to close this. Okay, now I believe you can see my screen. But before I go into the grading, I'm going to start with how to grid. Then we are going to, after grading, we will just have some panels so that you can understand how to grid and panel the building design, the building plan. Okay, so you're going to agree with me that no two designs are the same. Yes, no two designs are the same. And where this actually starts from, where this begins, is from how you panel and grid your building plans. Okay? And that is what is responsible for the general makeup of the statement. No two designs are the same. And the thing is that our designs cannot be the same because we are probably going to grid and panel our building plans in different ways. And if you ask me what is responsible for this, I would say number one is because of our design philosophy. Our philosophies about design are different, and the way we understand design is different. Okay? Our school of thoughts are different, and everyone wants to do what he or she perceives or thinks is best. And let me say this categorically, that there are several ways to achieve just a single thing. So if I am achieving that single thing with option A, you might feel that, okay, if I do it in a different way, it is going to work. So those are some of the things, our design philosophies. Okay. Then another thing we have to consider when we talk about two designs not being the same is professionalism. And that's just the truth. Professionalism. We can design, let me say, better than ourselves. There are some people that their designs are, bogus, not economical. I'm sorry to say, but it's just a pity that I've seen quite a couple of designs that are not, And one thing that I always see when I see such design is perhaps the design is not done by a professional. You understand? Because if it is a professional that is doing the design, yes, it's going to consider safety, and the design has to be economical. You understand what I'm trying to say now? So those are some of the factors that are responsible for we having different designs for a particular structure. If you give a particular structure to be designed by, if you give out an architectural plan, the same architectural plan to two different people, they are definitely going to design differently. Okay, so those are some of the factors that are responsible for it. But today I'm going to be concentrating on how to grid and panel a building plan. Okay, so let me state categorically that this is my own idea. If you have other ways to do it, it's very fine. It's up to you. It's left to you. But this is my own idea. Okay, so there are a lot of things. It's a very complex topic, I would say. I'm not going to say that grading and paneling the building plan is a simple thing to do. It is not a simple thing to do because you have to consider a lot of factors before you decide the location of those elements that you want to put. And the element you are putting has to, your building has to be safe, and whatever thing you put has to be economical. So you have to think, your reasoning ability has to, be at 100% so that you can produce a design that is safe, durable, and economical. Okay, so the very first thing to consider while paneling and grading a building plan rather, is understanding your building plan. That is the very first thing to do. When you have an architectural plan, the very first thing you should do is to understand your architectural plan. And for you to understand your architectural plan, you need to go through your architectural plan. So this is the architectural plan. If you can see my screen, this is the architectural plan. And I'm just going to go through it in 2-3 minutes. This is the ground floor here. This is the first floor here. And this is the second floor. So it's a school building. It is a school building. It's a primary school building. Okay. So just by the entrance here, you have an entrance here. And then if you walk towards this entrance, you have a classroom here. By your left, have the head teacher's office. Then you have your stair. You have another classroom here. Then you have a classroom here. Another one here. You have a classroom here too. Then just here is a void. There is nothing there. There is nothing there. It's opened. It's opened to the first floor. Remember, this is the ground floor that we have. So it's opened to the first floor, okay? Then you have a way out here. And then here you have a classroom. Then you have a toilet here for the students, okay? So, and then you have your stair here. If you come to the first floor, if you come through any of the stairs, either this stair or these stairs. So let's say we're coming through this stair. When you come through this stair, you are going to just face the store. Then on the two sides are classroom. Then you have a classroom here, and then you have all your classrooms. Another toilet, you've got another toilet here. Okay. Then on the second floor, you have your classroom. You would agree with me that the store here is more like the extra space here. And then you have a classroom here. You have a classroom. Remember, this part is where we have the void from the ground floor to the first floor. But on the second floor, we have a classroom there. Okay, so when you come out of the classroom, then you have another classroom here. And now I would begin to find out on my head, what are the similarities between this building, between these the different floors. Okay, you agree with me that if you just look at this space, this looks more like the same thing as we have here, looks more like the same thing as we have here. However, you discover that there is a cantilever on on the first floor, what we have here, the perimeter for the ground floor is indicated on the second floor as the red lines here. So all these other parts, including these parts, are cantilevers. Even this part, they are cantilevers. So the architect has made it very easy for me to, to know where the cantilevers are. Then you would agree with me that this part, this void here, is just from here to where we have this red line, then all the way here, just like this. There is nothing here from the ground floor to the first floor, but it is covered on the second floor. Okay, so those are some of the similarities you want to look at, because those are the things that we instruct you on how to grid and how to, to panel your building. Okay, another thing you would consider is these spaces. The truth is, this plan is quite simple, but it's not as simple as you may think, because you have cantilevers, and if care is not taken, you may get stuck when you are doing it if you are not careful and if you are not a professional at what you do. Okay, so this part here, you would agree with me, that is the same thing here. Here. Okay, we have this here, and we have other ones there. Now, one of the things to do so that you don't, you cannot view with your eye and be accurate. One thing I would recommend is that you superimpose your floors. And when I say you superimpose, what do I mean by superimposing? Okay, so for you to do, before you do anything, before you touch these plans, I would strongly recommend that you just copy all of them. I would recommend that you copy all of them. Just copy all of them and copy it somewhere here, somewhere else, so that you have, you have the original plan. Okay, so you can now do whatever thing you want to do on this. But as a matter of fact, even this, I would just ensure that I have another copy, maybe up here, in case I want to compare. So I can now do anything I want to do with this. Okay, so I'm just going to make this to be, I'm going to change the color to, say, green. Or let me put it as red, because the grid lines, because the cantilever lines are, the ground floor perimeters are represented with red lines on the first floor. So I'm just going to put this as red. Then I'm going to put this as green. I'll make this green. Then here, I'm going to make this to be cyan. Okay, so what do you want to do? You want to carry all of this, then move it. You want to move it here. This line, this is this line here. You want to put that there, right? Yeah, you agree with me that, yeah, these are the lines that were represented on the second floor normally. Okay, then I'm probably just going to copy this again. I may choose to, to move this on this. Do you get it? Well, let me do this. Let me just copy. Let me have another copy for this. And then I can now, I can now try and copy this now. Can copy anywhere. let me copy where we have the stairs, or let me even move. I think it's better I move so you don't get confused. Okay, so yep. Okay, so I have the first floor and the ground floor here. So if you ask me what are the problems I have here, I can see where my cantilevers are very well now. This is a cantilever here. Then here is we have another cantilever at this point. Okay, so you may want to check what is happening around here, because here is, it appears there is an issue here. You need to understand what the problem is here. So I'm just going to revert to what I've been doing before, the one I've done before, the one I copied. So if you check properly, you see that there's a line here. Then this is more like a porch for entrance, more like the entrance porch. However, this is meant to cover this place. Then you have a projection. This is just meant to cover this. You understand? This line is just meant to cover here, turns this way. That's this line here. And that's just what is happening there. Okay. So the next thing that I'm just going to do now is I'm going to superimpose the second floor. I'm going to superimpose the second floor on the first floor so that we see what is happening. Okay. Okay. Looks like, oh yeah, I think these are the lines for the, these are the perimeter for the ground floor that was represented there. Okay. Let me do it this way so that you understand what I'm talking about. To discover that all these lines are for the ground floor, which we really don't need for now. I'm deleting this off. Okay. This is for the ground floor. And I'm just going to delete it. Yeah. Yeah. I think this is done. Okay. And I'm just going to superimpose it again now. Okay. So you would agree with me that it appears that the same thing that is happening on the second floor is what is happening on the first floor. So apart from the fact that there is now going to be a slab at this part, because the void just covers from here all the way here, then back to this point. So there's going to be a slab here that we introduced here. Yeah, the slab is going to be introduced in all of this panel. Yeah. Yeah, because there is a classroom here now. So the slab is definitely going to be introduced in all of this panel. So there is going to be a panel here now. Okay. That is what is represented here. Okay, so that's what we have here. And as you can see, that's what we have. Yeah, that's what we have. Okay, so now another important thing to consider, let me say some of the things you have to consider again when you want to start placing your column. Maybe I'm just going to pause that until we start placing our columns. Okay, so what do you want to do now is to grid your building line. You have an idea of, these are the same. These are more like typical what we have in the ground floor. So what we have in the first floor. So you want to, the very first thing you should do is to create a line and name it as grid line. I have a grid here, but then I don't want to use this because I want to show you how to create. You create a new layer. So once you create a new layer, you want to rename this layer as grid line. Grid line. Okay. And you can click OK. Oh yeah, I have a layer called grid, named grid line already. So grid line, let me just name grid line 2. Then I'm just gonna come back to it. I want to change the color to white, to red, sorry. Yeah, something red. I'm just gonna click on apply and then okay. So I'm just gonna come here. I'm looking at the easiest way to create the grid line. Okay, so I'm just gonna pick a line. Let me see what. So the size of this wall is 225. So it's not gonna be bad if I offset 112.5. Yeah, then then I do this. Then if I am doing it for the next one too, don't think it's gonna be a bad idea. 112.5. Okay, so after doing this, just create a line that is, with this layer grid line, create a line, then match properties, match these properties with this. Then you can delete whatever thing you have here. This is my own easiest way of creating a grid line. You get it? So I have these two lines already. What I'm going to do now is that I'm going to copy. I'm going to copy from here. I'm going to place here, place here, place a line here, place a line here, place a line here. Yeah, maybe place another one here. Yeah, maybe, yeah. It's another one here. Maybe another one here. It's something I can delete eventually, so I can, place as much as I am willing to place. Yep. So I want to extend this line here, probably here. Extend these two. Yep. 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 Okay. And I want to extend. Yeah. Now you understand what I'm doing currently. Okay. So I want to do the same thing I have done for the horizontal axis. I want to do it for the horizontal line. I want to do it for the vertical lines. Yeah, I'm going to come here, put this here too. Yeah, I'm going to, yeah, I think that those are basically the points. Yep. So I'm going to just extend this out. Extend this out also. And yeah, I think it's not looking really bad. So we'll do the same for this. Uh, yeah, and that is my grid. So now I may now choose to, you know, I may choose to start placing my columns now. I'm just trying to create a column. Yeah, in case I'm going to need 225 by 450 or whatever size I will need, I can always create, I can always create a column. Okay. Then I can always create this. Okay. I'm trying to make this process as easy as possible so that even if you are new to AutoCAD, you will be able to know how to do some things. Okay, so I have my 25 by 25 columns and I have my 25 by 450 columns here. Probably just going to increase, yeah, probably just going to make them a bit thick. The lines a bit thick so that it can be easy. So I can now start to place my columns. Now, if you want to place your column, these are some of the things you should consider. Number one, you should look out for your wall alignment on each floors. Look out for your wall alignment on each floors. Look out for your window openings. Look out for your door openings. Then look out for any other opening. Okay. In addition, look out for your open areas. Look out for your open areas. Then on your brain also, while inserting your structural members, such as the column, always think of the best way to do the design, the most economical, the most safe way, and also the most economical way to do the design. Okay, so you would agree with me that it would be stupid of me to place a 225 by 450 column here, place 225 by 450 column here, and use 225 by 450 column all through the building. However, if you are good at design, you should be able to, have an idea of when to use your 225 by 450 columns. Okay, so I'm just going to start this now. We're just going to copy. I want to start placing my columns. I would definitely have a column here. Yeah. I would want to have a column here too. I would want to have a column somewhere here too. I would want to have my column here too. By the time I design with 225 by 225, if it fails, I can always, increase my column size. I'm going to have my column here too. Yes, I think it won't be a bad idea to have a column here too. Yeah, maybe somewhere here is not bad too. Yeah, maybe somewhere here is not bad too. Okay. It's not going to be a bad idea if I have one here, I have one here, it's not going to be a bad idea at all. And I can choose to have one here, depending on what I want. And as you can see, this wall, this column that is here is embedded in this wall. You see? Better still, before I continue, you may choose to copy your grid lines, all your grid lines. Just copy it so that you have an idea of what is happening at all other floors. Okay. So I'm putting this here, and I'm going to be putting this here. So for this part, you see that there is a cantilever here, and that's the cantilever I'm talking about. Okay. So when you import your plan to whatever design software you want to use, you can always, design your cantilever. Okay. So that is, you can see the way I'm putting my columns. You can see that I'm putting my columns gradually, and this is how you input your columns until you are done with your column, with inputting your columns. You get it? I mean, yeah, you just put it the way you think it works best for you. Okay, this is not bad for me. I would rather have my columns arranged this way. You get it? So, yeah. Okay, so the last thing I'm going to talk about is how to panel. So when we have done our grids, we have insert our columns, and the last thing to talk about is how to panel. So inputting our columns like this gives us an idea of, what we want our column, what we want our structure to look like. It gives us an idea of what we really want our structure to look like. Okay, so yeah, let me just complete this. Then let me just choose to put one here too. Yeah, so okay, they're showed. You would agree with me that the distance from here to here is too much. If you want to check it out, we measure center to center. This is 10.05. I'm having a beam of 10.05. I would rather want to use a 600 mm beam, and it's going to, the reinforcement might be crazy because of the span. So it's going to, for me, I believe it's going to be economical if I'm just breaking this, maybe at the center here. Yeah. Okay, so I wouldn't be having a bogus beam, and the reinforcement bar is not going to be, unnecessarily bogus for me too. So yeah. So if I have something like this, I don't think it is bad. Okay. So now the next thing is how to panel your building. When you panel, it means you are dividing into panels. You are separating. You are more like identifying the slab panels. So I would just do this. If you want to panel, it's very easy. I will just come to where we have the rectangle. This panel has shown itself to be one. You would agree with me that this is a panel already. I'm probably going to do this, maybe make it green, and then, make this to be this. This is a panel on its own. If you repeat that, this is another panel on its own. You agree with that? Okay. Remember, there is nothing at this point. There is nothing at this point. So I might, this is where Uh, so this is where our design philosophy comes to place. I might design this simple panel as a cantilever, or yeah, I might design, there's going to be a slab here. I might design this as a cantilever. And another way to go about it is just, I can decide to place my a column here, or probably shift this column here, or place another one there. Then I'm going to have a cantilever beam here. No, since my beam is actually going to be spanning all through here, I can just create another beam here. Then I would be having I'll be having a panel here. But considering that there is a beam here normally, and there is a beam here, this would not make a cantilever. You may just have you can only decide to have a slab supported on 3 sides, or by 3 sides, or you throw a beam here, then you have your normal slab here. So personally, I would rather, once I have my beam here, and I have a beam here, I can throw a beam here easily, even without the column, and have a slab here. Yeah. Okay, so this can be another panel for me. Yeah, this can be another panel. Yeah, you discover that I'm matching the properties, but then if you don't want to, you can always edit your, you can always create a layer and then edit the properties of the layers to be so that it's quite easy for you. All these lobbies, the walkway can be designed as a one-way slab. I'm going to definitely have a beam here because of because of the stairs, and I can have a beam here. So I am personally going to, design all this walkway as I'm going to design it as a one-way slab, and I can have some other panels here, another panel here, this is another panel, this is another one, then this is another one, and this is another one. So the only headache I will be left with is what is happening here and how do I achieve whatever thing is here. So I'm going to leave that to you to decide. Understand? So this video covers how to grid and panel a structure, a building plan, and I strongly believe that you have learned one or two things. Always remember that before you do a building plan, before you grid and panel a building plan, you need to understand the architectural designs. You need to understand what is happening on each floor. Then while you are griding and paneling, some of the things that needs to be running in your head is number one, the wall alignment, the window openings, door openings, any other open areas, then the best and safe and also most economical way of designing any panel you want to design. Those are some of the things that should be running into your head. Remember, we talked about how different design philosophies and also professionalism, how it contributes to our different drawings not coming out the same way. Okay, so I believe you have learned one or two things from this video. If you have any comments, please drop it in the comment section. If you have any question, also please drop it in the comment section. It will be attended to. Thank you, and don't forget to share this video and also subscribe to this channel.